everybody, to Homestead-Miami Speedway. My name is Josh Hall. This is Intensity Broadcasting's live coverage of the SCSRA Morris Customs Truck Series here on iRacing as we get ready for race number 8 of the season here at Homestead-Miami. Let's take a look at our points coming into tonight. We see up at the top of the leaderboard is Cody Moore with a win. Devin Bucino sits back in second. Matthew Scott with a win back in third. Eddie Morris looking for his first truck win of the season in fourth. And Matthew Scott locked into that championship battle in fifth with a truck win. Then Jay Stinson, Joe Wright, Brian Merle Jr., Blaze Richardson, Matt Allen, Brett Merle, and Gannon Cyphers round out your top 12. So if the season was to end right now, this would be your championship picture. We have just a couple races left, though, until the championship is decided. Of course, we've got tonight at Homestead. Next week, we move on to New Hampshire Motor Speedway, followed by Las Vegas before we get ready for the playoffs starting at Bristol. Of course, we want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight as we see trucks out on the racetrack, getting their final practice underway as we have about 2 minutes left here in practice. Currently, Brian Canuti fastest on the speed charts. Devin Bucino sits back in second. Eddie Morris, Matthew Scott, and Cody Moore, your top 5. How about Will Witt making an appearance here tonight in the Truck Series, currently 6th fastest. Joe Wright runs back 7th. And we'll find Ryan Gomes, Brian Boyd, and Matt Allen, your top 10 as they run in practice. Of course, it's just practice. It's not the actual race. So we'll see what these drivers are able to do come qualifying. Also, it's nice to see a couple new familiar faces back on the racetrack we haven't seen in a little while. Of course, that would be the 8 of the 54 of Jeffrey Belk back in the on track with the SCSRA after taking a little bit of a hiatus. Good to see him back on the circuit. As we see Puppet Master says, "Hey buddy, good to see you," as well. As we have about 30 seconds left here before we get qualifying, underway. See Devin Bucino coming down pit road, making himself get some practice getting on the pit road. This is a tricky pit road to get down onto, so we'll be watching these drivers all night tonight as they struggle to get down onto pit road. See Cody Moore, a couple wasted wages drivers right here. 4th and 5th quickest running together on the racetrack. And Homestead-Miami is a very unique track. It looks like it would be a symmetrical oval. We'll throw the track information up here right now on the screen. You see the track looks pretty even all the way around, but turns 1 and 2 drive completely different than turns 3 and 4. We see the air temperature 78 degrees, 56% humidity, track temperature 108 degrees, so it's going to be a little bit of a slick one out there tonight. Normally these boys drive the Homestead at night, so having it during the day here is going to make it a little bit different here tonight, I think, for how these drivers take the race this racetrack. And you see Gann Cyphers making his way out onto the racetrack. When you exit pit road, you do have to take that access road around the track, so that can make things a little bit more difficult as well. There's a couple different ways that you can run Homestead-Miami. You can run right down on that white line. You can run right up against the wall. You can run anywheres in between. So because of the progressive banking here, it really allows these drivers to really dictate where they want to run the track. As I mentioned, it's just over 1.5 miles in length. The turns are banked 18 degrees to 20 degrees progressively. So what that means is where Gannon's running right now, right on that white line, The track is only banked at 18 degrees, but up against the wall where you might see some drivers running, that track is banked at 20 degrees, which allows that high lane to have a little bit more speed sometimes. So we'll have to see how this plays out here tonight, as Cyphers, currently fastest as the only driver who's set down a green flag lap so far. You see Richard Hurst currently in third now as Joe Wright goes up to the top of the speed cards as times are starting to trickle in on their qualifying attempts. As Gan Cyphers makes his way off of turn number 4 and down across the stripe, and Cyphers actually goes slower on his second lap. 33.52 on his first lap, 33.57 on his second lap. Joe Wright comes across the line on his second lap, and again, same trend, a little bit slower, but still currently up at the top of the leaderboard. Rick Ward in 34, currently going third fastest on his first lap. Is he going to find any time on his second lap? Or are we going to see much of the same thing where that second lap is just a little bit slower? Another thing to watch out for here at Homestead-Miami is the bumps. There is a lot of bumps on this track. It has quite a bit of character. One of those bumps is exiting turn number 2. It's really easy for the truck to get really loose off of the corner. We see Rick Ward go a little bit slower on his second. Ran a 33.5 on his first lap, a 33.51 on his second lap. So slightly slower on his second lap as we see Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence come across the stripe. His first lap is going to put him up into the 6th spot. We'll see if he's able to improve here on his second lap as we see Ryan Gomes running that high lane through turns 3 and 4 and driving the truck down off the corner, trying to get as much speed as he can. And Ryan Gomes currently, well, that was coming to the white flag, so he's using that high lane to try to get that truck wound up to get as much speed as he could. Cheeseburger comes down across the line. Same trend, oh no, he's actually faster on his second lap, moves up into the 5th position. Ryan Gomes down through turns 3 and 4, right down on that white line. He makes his way down to the stripe. Gomes goes second quickest as Jeffrey Belk takes the white flag on his second lap. Belk jumps up into the 6th position on his first lap. Matthew Fritz up into 6th, bumps Belk down a spot. Matthew Scott goes up to second quickest on the board. Belk off of turn number 4 and down to the stripe. And Jeffrey Belk is going to stay in the 7th position. We see Charles Balance. Well, it looks like he's going to pull off here on his second lap. Here's the 13 of William Walter Witt V, making his way off of turn number 4 and down to the stripe. Will Witt's jump up into the 3rd position as Dave Wright's just making his way off of pit road and onto the racetrack. Same with the 77 of Brian Boyd. And Eddie Morris in the 8 machine also making his way out onto the racetrack. So a couple drivers trying to get their qualifying attempt in with just 4 minutes and 20 seconds left here in qualifying. Joey Hickox also making his way onto the racetrack. So quite a few drivers left to qualify. 20 trucks have entered the session here, but only 12 have put down a lap so far, as we see Dave Wright making his way down the backstretch. Brian Boyd coming off of turn at number 4 to the stripe. Boyd's first lap is going to move him up into the 8th position. See if he's able to improve his second lap. Eddie Morris jumps up to 4th quickest on the board. And Dave Wright coming across the stripe, and he's going to go 15th quickest. There's the 3 of Joe Hickox running that high lane through turns 1 and 2. So he runs towards turns 3 and 4. Eddie Morris off of turn number 4 as Brian Boyd goes 3rd quickest. Eddie Morris is going to go 4th quickest. Dave Wright off of turn, or down across the straight, going to go 12th quickest. See, Joey Hickox now makes his way through turns 1 and 2. With 2.5 minutes left here in qualifying, we see Devin Bucciano just coming across the stripe, going to be 16th quickest on his first lap. See Matthew Fritz going out there for another qualifying attempt. He only ran 1 lap on his first try. Let's see if he's able to improve here on his second try. Here comes Devin Bucciano down into turns 3 and 4. Off of turn number 4, down towards the stripe, and Bucciano is going to go P5. Matthew Fritz on his qualifying attempt, not going to improve his time. And here's Cody Moore, who was quickest, one of the quicker ones in practice. Always good at putting down the hot lap. You saw him get a little loose there, catching that bump off of turn number 2. Able to hold on to it, though, as he makes his way down towards turns 3 and 4. Enter high, kind of roll it down, kind of diamond the corner, use that middle lane, try to run the car. Oh, wow, look at his hands. You saw his hands inside the truck there. Looked like he was swatting bees as he comes across the stripe on his first lap. That's only going to be good enough for 16th, so he was able to do here on his second lap. That's a truck that does not look very happy right now. Is much smoother, much better off of turn number 2 that time. Cody runs a black fire suit, but you see the yellow stripes on the hands. So as he comes off of turn number 4, you'll be able to see what his hands are doing here. And this time much smoother off of turn number 4 and down to the stripe. Cody Moore is going to go 7th quickest. As Brian Canuti just took the white flag on his qualifying attempt. With 25 seconds left, we'll see if he's got enough time. He should have plenty of time to get around and get his qualifying attempt underway. Off a turn at number 4, right at the time limit just about, and Brian Canuti is going to jump up to the pole, knock Joe Wright right off the pole at the last second. So that's going to do it for qualifying as we get ready to grid them up here. But before we do, I want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight, whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, or over on Kick. We do appreciate you joining us here tonight. Don't forget to hit that like button, follow, and subscribe. Hit that little notification bell so you know anytime we go live here on Intensity Broadcasting. Don't want to forget about our great partners here at Intensity Broadcasting, including tonight's series sponsor, Morris Customs, for all your iRacing paint needs. Check out Morris Customs on Facebook at Morris Customs, or facebook.com/Morris Customs, or link down below in the description. Also, don't forget to check out Blue Ridge Auto Group. Their link is down in the description as well. For all your iRacing coaching and setup needs, check out raceepi.com to help support the channel, and check out our merchandise as well as Atlee Atman Reese's merchandise and some of our novelty t-shirts. You can check out intensityracing.com. And of course, don't forget about our great partner over at Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker is a well-known and established leader in gaming haptics. The award-winning line of Butt Kicker products lets users feel low-frequency sounds. Their products are used and endorsed around the world by leading PC and console gamers, including professional sim racers. Their patented design makes them incredibly accurate, powerful, and virtually indestructible. The Gamer Plus is the new and upgraded sim racing haptic that reproduces immersive and powerful sim racing, flight sim, and gaming effects. Check out the full line of butt kicker products and figure out which one's right for you. Visit thebuttkicker.com. As the trucks are making their way out onto the racetrack, let's take a look at our starting grid. And starting on pole here tonight is Brian Canuti, with Joe Wright starting from the second position. Matthew Scott will roll off third with Brian Boyd in the fourth spot. Rolling off fifth will be the 8 of Eddie Morris and Devin Butchino back in sixth. Row 4 will find Will Witt and Cody Moore with Ryan Gomes and Matt Allen back in row number 5. Row 6 is Rick Ward and Jeffrey Belk, followed by Gan Cyphers and Matthew Fritz. Dave Wright, Michael Lawrence back in row number 8. Blaze Richardson, Joey Hickox, row 9. Richard Hurst and Charlie Chuck Balance will round out the field here tonight as we get ready for racing here at Homestead-Miami. 110 laps. These drivers are trying to get themselves formed up here. There we go. Green flag is in the air. We are racing a little bit of a mess towards the back here. Those drivers are already getting 2 and 3 wide coming down to the stripe. But Brian Canuti able to get the run off of turn number 2 as the field spreads out off of turn number 2 and down the backstretch for the first time. Brian Canuti with a big lead out in front, but we see a gaggle of trucks back here. Cody Moore trying to find his way around Will Witt. He's got Eddie Morris and Will Witt side by side in front of him. This is a battle for the 4th position. Joe Wright falls all the way back to 3rd from the front row as Matthew Scott was able to get around him and up into 2nd. A little bit further back, you see Rick Ward and Ryan Gomes battling at it back here. This is for the 11th and 12th position. Joe Wright dives down to the inside underneath Matthew Scott, trying to retake the 2nd position. Scott, though, is going to fight back on the high side. He's going to run right up on the back bumper of Joseph Wright as they make their way down the front stretch and into turn number 1. Now the field starting to get a little bit more single file back to Jeffrey Belk back in the 9th position, who's looking down underneath Matthew Allen, trying to take over that 8th spot. Just in front, we see Brian Boyd taking a look down to the inside of Will Witt, going down into turn number 3. Cody Moore also taking a look down to Eddie Morris. More so using that high lane. Actually, Cody was not looking down underneath Eddie. Eddie was looking to the outside of Cody, as now Eddie's looking to the outside of Matthew Scott, using that high lane early while the tires are fresh, try to get himself towards the front. As, Matt Scott gets really loose down on the bottom, gathers it up. Cody Moore wisely able to avoid the 35 as he was battling that truck down on the bottom. Here goes Eddie Morris down to the bottom, making his way around his teammate Joe Wright. And now Eddie Morris up 3 spots, trying to battle for the lead as he's quickly catching Brian Canuti. Cody Moore working down underneath Joe Wright for the 3rd spot. Battles all over the racetrack as we see Will Witt and Brian Boyd battling back here, with Jeffrey Belk trying to make it 3 wide. Looks like Boyd might be having a little bit of a connection issue because he has disappeared from the racetrack. Joe Wright and Cody Moore now battling side by side. Looks like Brian Boyd is back on the racetrack now after having that little bit of a connection issue. Meanwhile, Brian Canuti continues to lead as Eddie Moore is using that high lane. Now he's got Cody Moore down underneath him. Moore using the low lane. They're side by side, door to door off of turn number 2. Might have been a little bit of contact there, a little bit of net code between the 8 and the 52. Cody able to use that momentum to get down and around the 8. And here comes Joe Wright looking down underneath Eddie as, we had some issues back here. Rick Ward slowed down on the inside of the racetrack. No caution. Let's see if we can see what happened to the, Ooh, at this point, he's already backwards. So not really sure what happened to the driver of the 34, but having some issues early in the race. Fortunately, we do have the stage break, which will allow these drivers to catch backups. Tonight, the stage will be at lap number 40. Eddie Morris and Matthew Scott now battling side by side. This is a battle for the 4th position as Scott has the advantage down on the low side. Meanwhile, back up front, Cody Moore trying to catch Brian Canuti. He's led every lap since the drop of the green flag. Morris crossing over the 35 of Matthew Scott, trying to take the inside lane as we go down into turns 3 and 4. This time Eddie's going to be able to get the advantage off of turn number 4, but here comes Scott fighting back hard on the high side. Eddie wisely staying away from that machine, trying to keep the side draft away, and he's going to take over that 4th position once again. Further back, we see Richard Hurst. Ooh, up into the wall. That's the 21 of Richard Hurst up into the wall as Dave Wright was able to sneak on by. Cheeseburger was as well. Here's the 77 of Brian Boyd taking a look down underneath Gannon Cyphers. And this is a battle for the 10th position. I'm sorry, for the 9th position, as Boyd has now moved around Gannon Cyphers and taken over that 9th position. And back up front, Eddie Morris has a mirror full of Matthew Scott. We've completed 10 out of the 110 laps here tonight at Homestead-Miami. You see Matthew Scott now looking down to the inside of Eddie Morris. Morris though trying to fight back on that high side down into turns 3 and 4. This time Morris is going to have to tuck back in line behind Matthew Scott. Thought maybe Eddie was going to try the crossover move, but Scott now moves himself solidly up into the 4th position and sets his sight on the 82 of Joe Wright. A little further back, we see this battle heating up between Dave Wright and the 21 of Richard Hurst. Just behind Ryan Gomes and Devin Butchino battling as well. Butchino having a rough start here tonight. He's lost 9 positions from the start of the race. Currently finds himself back in the 15th position. A tough start for the driver at the 68, but a lot of racing left to go. As now Will Witt's trying to make his way around Eddie Morris to take over the 5th spot. Will Witt trying to use that high lane to his advantage, trying to use that momentum off the corner. And he's going to clear the 8 of Eddie Morris. And now Jeffrey Belk, who's already up 5 positions in the 7th, really trying to shake the rust off. He hasn't raced with the SCSRA in a few weeks. Glad to see him back here as he is now currently running in the 7th position and slowly running down the leaders. Back up front, Brian Canuti continues to lead over Cody Moore by almost a second now as we've completed 15 of the 110 laps. So far, kind of what we expect to see here at Homestead-Miami. The field starting to spread out a little bit as we have Wasted Wages teammates, Will Witt and Matthew Scott now, trying to battle each other for the 4th position. Will's starting to show a little bit of speed here. You see him running right up on the back bumper of Matthew Scott. Will trying to use that inside lane to his advantage, but just not able to get the run there underneath Scott to try to take that position away. Jeffrey Belk and Eddie Morris side by side with the 127 of Matt Allen right behind as well, waiting in the wings, trying to pull his way through as well in the draft. You can see just how much the draft comes into play here at Homestead-Miami, as Allen was able to draft up on these two as they ran side by side. Running side by side here really slows down these trucks. And now you see Allen trying to make a move to the high side as they work around the lap truck of Rick Ward. Allen able to get around Jeffrey Belk and up into the 7th position. See a bunch of trucks racing around here. We see the 34 of Rick Ward just trying to hang on right now, trying to get himself to the stage or a caution to get that truck fixed up and back into contention, as we see Devin Butchino racing with Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence. This is a battle for the 13th position. Dev's going to dive down underneath. He's going to take away that position. So now Cyphers takes a look down to the inside, and already drivers coming down pit road. Cody Moore speeding on pit road. Something happened to Cody there. Let's go back and take a look here, see what happened to Cody. Man, that truck broke loose on him and had no choice but to aim down towards pit road. Unfortunately, he's going to have to make a, well, he is taking tires here. I don't know if he was trying to come down pit road or if he just lost it. And yeah, he didn't get a speeding penalty, so that might have been the strategy, is to come down pit road, and he was able to get down the speed. So now Cody Moore is being scored one lap down in 19th, but he does have fresh tires compared to the rest of the field. And you're going to see just what these fresh tires are going to do for Cody as he works around these trucks that are on older tires. And Cody's going to be able to go around these drivers like they're going backwards. Now Will Witt down on pit road, so these are scheduled pit stops. Brian Canuti looking like he's going to stay out and try to run this tank empty while other drivers are trying to run a little bit of strategy, as here comes Joe Wright down onto pit road now. Eddie Morris hitting pit road. We'll have to see if Devin Butchino makes his way down pit road this time as well. Currently battling with Richard Hurst and Brian Boyd. This is a battle for 6th, 7th, and 8th between these three drivers. As you see on the bottom of the screen, the three letters of the drivers on pit road: Joseph Wright and Eddie Morris. When you see the pit flashing, that means they're on their way to their pit stall. When it's solid red, as they're 3 wide now, Brian Boyd loses 2 positions right there in that corner. When the pit says solid red, that means that they are in their pit stall. When it turns to a number, that means they're down away and exiting their pit stop. That's the pit stop time. And when it disappears, that means they're completely off pit road. Is now Matthew Scott's making his way down onto pit road. You see the long run down on the pit road here at 45 miles an hour. And there's Cody Moore making his way around Brian Canuti. Cody Moore now getting himself back onto the lead lap. Matt Allen down on pit road now. So early pit stops for the drivers here tonight. As we see Cheeseburger and Gannon Cyphers battling right now. This is a battle back for the 8th position as Cyphers is able to get around the 47. Cheeseburger's going to battle back up on the high side though. Blaze Richardson right there in this mix as well. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Belk in a bit of a battle here. He's got the Venom driver, the 21 of Richard Hurst right there on the back bumper. Eddie Morris on fresh tires as Hurst is going to take a look down to the inside. He's going to take that position away from Belk to move Hurst up into the 3rd position. So now Venom runs 2nd and 3rd. As Devin Bucciano now makes his way around Jeffrey Belk as well. So Belk may have burned off his tires a little bit early. We are quickly coming to about 10 laps left here in the stage. About half the field has come down pit road. Take that back. Only 6 trucks have come down pit road so far. But still tells me that these drivers are not going to be able to make it to the end of the stage on fuel. And I'm kind of surprised that these drivers some of these drivers may not have come down earlier because they're losing a ton of time on the racetrack. And where stage points can be so important, and that playoff point for winning the stage as well, being so important. David Wright and Brian Boyd battling right now. This is a battle for 6th and 7th. Boyd's going to be able to use that high lane to his advantage to get the run down off of turn number 4 and into turns 1 and 2. See Matthew Scott and Eddie Morris. These two are battling pretty hard right now. This is a battle for 17th and 18th, but these drivers have already pit. So if the rest of the field has to come down pit road, this would be a battle more towards the front. Brian Boyd back on the high side. He's got Dave Wright on the low side. These two are still going at it, and they're running down Jeffrey Belk in the 54 machine. You see Dave Wright finally able to clear Brian Boyd as we look off the back bumper of Jeffrey Belk. It sounds like some drivers might be trying to save a little bit of fuel. Let's ride along here with Belk and let's listen in. Well, maybe it's not Belk who's saving fuel, but I did hear somebody trying to save a little bit of fuel, shutting the truck off. We ride along here with Brian Canuti, who's out in front of Matthew Fritz by 8 seconds. Fritz is making his way down on the pit road. And Canuti's still out there pushing hard as Eddie Morris tries to work around the high side of the 40. And Eddie Morris is going to get himself back onto the lead lap. Matthew Fritz on pit road, Richard Hurst on pit road. So the two of the Venom drivers pitting down and away. Looks like they took fuel only just to get to the end of the stage. Jeffrey Belk also making his way down pit road. As we are coming to about 5 laps left in the stage. But not just that, but with 2 laps before the stage end, we'll see the lights at the end of pit road come on, signifying that pit road has closed. If we spin our camera around here, we might be able to see those lights. I want to get those lights focused in here. So when the pit road does close, we have ourselves an idea when. Oh, we see Gan Cyphers on pit road, D Wright coming down on pit road as well. I figured the lights were a lot closer than they were there, so I apologize for that. And now Brian Canuti looks like he's going to be coming down on the pit road. That's going to give the lead to Devin Butchno, who's also going to make his way down on the pit road. So now Blaze Richardson's going to assume the lead. Now does Blaze have enough fuel to make it to the end? I believe he was one of the drivers that was trying to save a little bit. Yeah, you hear it now. There's one of the drivers shutting the trucks off. So he's trying to save a bit of fuel here to make it to the end of the stage. Trying to steal himself a stage win with 3 laps to go here in the stage. Charles Balance making his way down on the pit road. So 3 drivers have not pit yet. Blaze Richardson, Brian Boyd, and Ryan Gomes. But Ryan Gomes gets passed by Cody Moore. So now Cody Moore on a little bit fresher tires with a full tank of fuel, not saving anything. Makes his way up into the 3rd position, but 9 seconds up to Blaze Richardson in 1st. As we have just 2 laps left here in the stage. Does Richardson have enough in the tank to make it to the end? Remember, if he runs out of gas under yellow, any positions that he loses not being at pace speed, he will give up. So, but getting these playoff points are important as well, these stage points, as we have just 1 lap to go here in the stage. Brian Boyd is out of fuel on the backstretch. Cody Moore has now moved himself up into 2nd place. It's a 4-second gap up to Blaze Richardson. Richardson off of turn number 4. I think Richardson might be out. No, he's just saving as he comes across the line, and Blaze Richardson's going to get the stage win. Cody Moore 2nd, Ryan Gomes 3rd, Joe Wright 4th, Eddie Morris back in 5th. Brian Canuti in 6th. Brian Boyd finishes 7th. Will Witt, Matthew Scott, and Matthew Fritz round out the stage as Blaze Richardson gets the stage win. I think he's going to hit the access road here and make his way down on the pit road. I think he might be out of fuel, so fortunately for him, it's going to be a tail end of the line penalty for him for pitting or entering a closed pit here. But the gamble for the playoff points may pay off for him. Let's wait for him to come around and get his pit stop underway, and then we'll talk to our stage winner as we see Cody Moore picking up the pace car off of turn number 2. Now the rest of the field is going to make their way down on the pit road and get themselves situated for the second half of the race, or not half, but the final stage of the race. Let's bring down Blaze Richardson and talk with him about his strategy here. Blaze, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, Josh.
Man, kind of stealing the stage win there, trying to run it on fuel. Looks like you and Brian Boyd, though, ran out there right there at the end. But getting the stage win feels pretty cool, I'm sure, getting those playoff points and those extra 10 points there. Talk about that strategy, and did you think you were going to make it to the end? And were you able to, obviously, you were able to save it enough fuel to make it to the end there, but you weren't able to make it back around, were you?
No, so in the beginning of the race, it showed 37.5 laps for the fuel run. So I pretty much just clutched it when we were pacing, and then I didn't go full throttle sometimes going down the straightaway, just hoping I could save enough, and I did to get to the checkered. But yeah, like you said, we didn't make it to pit road. I started sputtering right when I came across the stripe, and I was like, oh, yep, here we go. But yeah, I'll gladly take the stage points.
For sure. Unfortunately, you're going to have to start at the tail end of the line here, but looks like you got a pretty good hot rod there. Now that you've been able to get down pit road and get your pit stop out of the way, how do you think the rest of the race is going to go here? What's your strategy from here on out? Is it just going to be balls to the wall?
So honestly, on the longer run, I feel like I got a pretty good truck. I hate brand new tires. Like when I'm scuffed in a couple laps, I feel 10 times better than what I do when I put stickers on. So yeah, towards the end of the run, I'm hoping that'll be right up there.
Awesome, man. Well, good luck the rest of the way out. We hope to talk to you there again at the end.
Alrighty, appreciate it. Thank you, bud.
Have a good one. So that was your stage winner, Blaze Richardson. I hope I put it back in the right room. Well, as we're under caution, Cody Moore is going to retake the lead of the race. Eddie Morris going to restart second. Brian Canuti and Joe Wright will be in row number 2. Then Will Witt and Matt Allen back in row 3. Devin Butchino, Jeff Belk, row 4. Richard Hertz and Matthew Fritz back in row 5. Everybody's made their way down pit road to take tires and fuel, except for Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence, last on pit road on lap 36. So not going to have a huge difference in tires here. As the lights are off on the pace car, we're going to re-rack them, restack them, and get ready to refire them here tonight. So here we go, the field getting ready. Whoops. To come down to the stripe. Cody Moore hits the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. Great jump for Cody Moore as Brian Canuti is going to battle down underneath Eddie Morris. Now Will Witt trying to find a way around the 8 machine as well, as Wasted Wages Racing now is 1, 2, 3. With Neon Racing 4, 5, 6. Although Matt Allen's trying to break up the Neon Racing battle here as he comes down the front stretch battling with Devin Bucciano. A battle for the 6th position. As Brian Canuti has a challenge coming in the form of Eddie Morris as they come down the backstretch and into turn number 3. Morris using that low lane trying to get around the 40 of Brian Canuti. They're now side by side, door to door through turns 1 and 2. And Morris is going to take that position away. Here comes Will Witt now, looking up to the high side of Brian Canuti. He's going to get a great run here off of turn number 2. He's not going to take the run down into turn 3 like I thought he was. He's going to allow Canuti to make a move onto Eddie Morris here down into turn number 3. Side by side, door to door off of turn number 4. Photo finish at the line that time by, but now Canuti is going to sneak out in front of Eddie Morris as they make their way down into turns 1 and 2. Here's Joe Wright trying to look for a way around the 13 of Will Witt, trying to get himself into the 4th position. Meanwhile, a little further back, we see Matt Allen trying to work down underneath the 21 of Richard Hurst. Well, Matt Allen right now in a bit of a backward slide. One driver who had a bit of a backward slide earlier in the race now finds himself running in 6th. That's Devin Bucciano. He had a bit of a rough start. Now he finds himself just outside the top 5. Has a hard-charging Jeffrey Belk right behind him. As we've got these 4 trucks under a blanket. Eddie Morris, Will Witt, Brian Canuti, and Joe Wright. And Cheeseburger is down on pit road. He is down and away. Takes 4 tires and fuel. And I think he was may have hoping for a little bit of a short. Oh, caution. Caution is out on the racetrack. There it is. I was going to say Cheeseburger was probably hoping for a bit of a caution to come out early. And there it is. That's going to bring up our first caution for incident, our first wreckage rewind. Let's see if we can see what happened to bring out this caution. So it looks like there was a bit of an incident here between Gannon Cyphers, Brian Boyd, and Blaze Richardson might have been involved in this one as well. So this is coming off of turn number 2. Oh, Boyd just got a little bit loose, came down into 2 Cyphers, and looks like there might have been a little bit of net code there as well. And then Boyd comes down and catches Richardson just enough. Doesn't really do any damage to the 33 machine, so he's able to continue on. But and Cyphers with heavy damage. Ooh, what an evasive move there by the 55 of Gomes as well. So we see the 2 of Gan Cyphers. Doesn't look like too much damage to that 2 machine, but you see the right side lifted up in the air just a little bit more. So yeah, you see the damage to the right front of the 2 machine. Here at Homestead-Miami, as we said before, drafting can be very important here. So not having a clean race truck is definitely detrimental to the aerodynamics of these trucks. But Cyphers might be trying to hold on to that reset a little bit longer at the same time. So we'll have to see if Cyphers comes down pit road this time or... Here he comes down on the pit road along with Brian Boyd and Joey Hickox. We'll have to see if, oh yeah, you see that right front tire pointed inward. Heavy damage to the 2 machine. He's definitely going to take a reset here. And yep, you see that truck snap back into place. So these drivers only get 1 reset per race. And Dan Cyphers has now used his up. Rick Ward back on the lead lap. Coming down pit road as well. Brian Boyd making his way off pit road. As lights on the pace car are still on, and we're going to go at least 2 more laps before we go back green flag race. Of course, I want to take this time again to thank everybody for joining us. Don't forget to check out our great partners down below, including Morris Customs for all your iRacing paints and graphical needs. Check out Morris Customs at facebook.com/Morris Customs. Of course, Blue Ridge Auto Group, another one of our great partners here in the SCSRA. As well as some of our partners over at Intensity Broadcasting, including Race EPI for all your iRacing coaching and setup needs. Visit raceepi.com. The Butt Kicker for all your gaming haptic needs and music, movies, and more. Check out thebuttkicker.com. You can help support our channel as well as Atlee Atme and Reese's Racing Career by visiting intensityracing.com for hats, t-shirts, leagues merchandise, novelty t-shirts as well. You can check it all out there at the link down below. So Cody Moore taking the outside here. Brian Canuti down on the low side. Will Witt and Joe Wright back in row number 2. I'm sorry, that's Eddie Morris and Joe Wright in row 2, and then Will Witt and Devin Butchino back in row number 3. Pace car is getting ready to take that hard left-hand turn down on the pit road. Cody Moore leads him down to the restart zone. And green flag is back in the air, and we are back racing. Cody Moore able to clear Brian Canuti down into turns 1 and 2. Great view of all the different lines that these drivers run through turns 1 and 2. Down at this end of the track, 3 and 4, though, everybody tries to stay a little bit more in line. Everybody kind of running the bottom lane right now. Except for the back here behind, everybody's kind of spreading out and running 2 and 3 abreast. Eddie Morris, we saw him run in the low lane earlier in the race, or high lane, should be earlier in the race. Now he's migrated back down to the low side. Because Will Witt's going to take a look down to the inside. Try to take the 5th position away from Eddie Morris. Matt Scott right back there in the mix as well. We see Jeffrey Belk up on the high side of Blaze Richardson. Richardson rebounding nicely after running out of fuel and having to start at the rear. He's cracked himself back into the top 10. Trying to work around Jeffrey Belk for the 8th position. Now Matt Allen trying to take a look down to the inside of Will Witt. Will going to use Eddie as a bit of a pick here. It's going to force Allen to duck back up in line. While we've got a moment, while we do a little segment that I like to call Pump Up the Intensity. Let's listen to these trucks run this track at full song. Great sights and sounds here at Homestead-Miami as see Eddie Morris has a bit of a backward slide now. He's lost a few positions, slid back into the 7th position. He's got Blaze Richardson working up to the high side. Blaze trying to take away this 7th spot here. Right behind this, we've got a 3-truck battle. Jeffrey Belk, Matthew Fritz, and the 55 of Ryan Gomes all battling. These 3 trucks been under a blanket for the last few laps. Matthew Scott now coming into the picture here. Matt Scott is a lap down. Actually, Matthew Scott is currently showing 2 laps down. Not Not sure what happened to the driver of the 35. Trying to work his way back through the field as Jeffrey Belk now has a mirror full of Matthew Fritz. Fritz has a mirror full of Gomes, as Gomes is going to take a look down to the inside. He's going to get Fritz off of turn number 2, and he's going to try to get Belk going down into turn number 3. Great battle here, fighting for the top 10. A little further up, we see Will Witt and Matt Allen going at it. Allen's trying to use the high side. Now he's going to cross over Will, going down the backstretch and into turn number 3. What a move for Matt Allen, getting himself up into the 4th position. But here comes Will Witt trying to fight back up on the high side. Was almost able to get back to the quarter panel. Now he's going to look down to the inside, down into turns 1 and 2. Devin Butchino right here in the mix as well. So great battle going on for the 4th, 5th, and 6th positions. See Blaze Richardson working up to the high side of Eddie Morris now. Well, he's going to use that crossover move we've seen a couple times already tonight. As we are quickly approaching 40 laps to go. Matt Allen, Devin Butchino fighting it out now. It's a battle for 5th place. Battles all over the track right now, up in the top 8. As Allen has been able to clear Devin Butchino and move himself up into the 5th spot. This gives a great view of all the different lines that these drivers are running. You see Allen right there against the wall. You see Eddie Morris about 2 lanes off the wall. You see drivers all the way down on the white line. And everywhere's in between, so. Shows the versatility of this track. We see Gann Cyphers running right up against the wall. And meanwhile, while that's all going on up front, Cody Moore and Brian Canuti are battling each other for the lead. Almost a little bit of contact between Moore and Canuti. They have a almost 2-second gap over 3rd place. Meanwhile, this battle continues to heat up as Matthew Fritz makes his way around Eddie Morris, and Morris in a bit of a backward slide right now. Not the position that he wants to be in. Brian Canuti's right back to the back bumper of Cody Moore. Cody using a little serpentine, trying to break the draft of the 40 down into turn number 3. Now Canuti's going to take a look up to the high side. Brian Canuti is going to take the lead away up on the high side here. Coming to lap 75. But here comes Cody Moore battling back on the inside, trying to hold on to that lead. As they battle side by side, door to door for the lead. Coming to just 35 laps to go. While these guys are running side by side, though, it's allowing third place Will Wick to catch them. Last time by, they both Canuti and Moore ran a 35-0. Will Wick ran a 34-8, basically. So these two drivers running side by side are a lot slower than one driver running by himself, and Will Witt is slowly catching these boys as they continue to battle door to door, side by side, down the backstretch. Neither driver giving an inch either. Both of them driving hard, door to door, side by side. Neither one of them wanting to give up the position. Now Cody Moore is going to retake the lead all to himself. Now he's going to fire back up on the high side. What a battle that we've had going on. Here we go, battle. Oh, Devin Butchino hitting pit road. Saw him getting past there. He's the first driver to make his way down on the pit road. As we are quickly approaching just 30 laps to go. See a battle here between Richard Hurst, Blaze Richardson. More drivers coming down on pit road. Oh, Cody Moore smoked him coming on the pit road. Did he get slowed down in time? So he makes his way to his pit stall. Ryan Canuti makes his way down to his pit stall. It's going to be interesting to see if Cody Moore actually got his truck slowed down in time. Right side or left side is coming on the truck now. He's down away, so yes, he was able to get that truck slowed down. Here comes Will Witt smoking him in as well. Matt Allen on pit road. The green flag pit stops underway. Jeffrey Belk, Chuck Balance both on pit road as well. That's going to give the lead of the race over to Joseph Wright. Look at Cody Moore on those fresh tires. Just the difference in speed as here comes Joe Wright down on the pit road. It's going to give the lead to Matthew Fritz. So Fritz will be able to get a bonus point here for leading a lap. Ryan Gomes, Blaze Richardson also down on pit road. So everybody else currently staying out on track, at least one or two more laps. Here's Rick Ward using the high lane right up against the wall, currently up into the 5th position. And Cody Moore back in the 6th. So only our top 5 left to make their way down on the pit road. We see just how much faster these new tires are as Joseph Wright makes his way around his brother. There goes the 127 of Matt Allen by as well. See Matthew Fritz right up against the wall as Devin Buccino goes by down on the low side. Rick Ward now down on pit road. Trying to make his way down to his pit stall. And the difference in speed out there right now, last time by, as Matthew Fritz comes down on the pit road, but last time by, Fritz ran a 35.05. And Cody Moore on fresh tires ran a 33.46. So almost a 2-second difference on fresh tires. And that's why staying out there on these old tires is not the play unless you're trying to hope for a caution. But the way that these drivers have been racing so far tonight, I don't see a caution coming out. It was both Matthew Fritz and Richard Hurst still on pit road. Hurst is down and away. Fritz is down and away as well. Here comes Eddie Morris peeling off on the pit road, and wow, almost loses it coming down on the pit road. What a save for the driver of the 8. You saw those hands working hard inside that car. So now it's up to Dave Wright. Dave Wright still on track. He's got a 22-second advantage over Cody Moore. But you know that 84 machine is going to have to come down pit road one more time. Eddie Morris down and away. So we have just 25 coming to 24 laps to go. And there you see the big difference in speed. You see the handicap, if you will, that old tires are playing with the 84 of Dave Wright. As everybody's able to just drive around him like he's standing still. You see the difference in lap time between him and Cody Moore. As Dave Wright stuck on the outside of 3 wide down into turn number 1. He wisely backs out of it, but you see just how much time he's losing each lap to Cody Moore, who runs back in second place, 18 seconds behind. Trying to get the track map up here of just these 2 drivers. See Cody Moore where he is on the track, and Really, the delta, that's how much Cody Moore has gained on Dave Wright in the last 10 laps. And you see that interval, that 14 seconds dropping ever so quickly with just 20 laps to go. And now Dave Wright's finally going to peel off on the pit road. And that is going to give the lead of the race to Cody Moore. Now, does Dave Wright use a little strategy here? Does he gamble? Does he take just 2 tires here? You only have 19 laps to go. 2 tires may not be a bad call. Let's see what he does here. How he missed his pit stall. So I was going to throw any strategy he might have had out the window. So now the battle for the lead is between Cody Moore and Brian Canuti, and you see the interval between these two is just 0.3 seconds. And then they have a 4-second lead over third place Will Witt. So 18 laps to go. Laps slowly click away. Brian Canuti eating into that lead of Cody Moore with just 17 laps to go. A little further back, you see Blaze Richardson trying to get around the 21 of Richard Hurst. It's a battle for 9th place. So Richardson, your stage winner, finds himself with this, having a nice top 10 run here in the final stage. Has Ryan Gomes right behind him, his teammate. Speaking of teammates, the battle for the lead is shaping up between these two teammates, Cody Moore and Brian Canuti, as they are pulling away from Will Witt, who runs back in third. That interval is now well over 4 seconds. Canuti trying to do everything he can to try to run down Cody Moore in these final laps. We have just 15 laps to go. See Eddie Morris working around the outside of Ryan Gomes. Go for Morris up into the 11th position. Now, does he have anything for Blaze Richardson down in turn number 1? Apparently Eddie is one of the fastest trucks on the racetrack. Trying to get him, salvage himself a great finish. Meanwhile, Cody Moore uses the Serpentine yet again to try to keep that 40 truck behind him. It's been doing a good job of breaking Canuti's momentum. That time, Cody entering just a little bit lower than Canuti. It's going to use a little bit more tire on that 52 truck. That's going to allow Canuti to pull right up to the back bumper. Cody says, if you're going to pass me, you're going to have to pass me high, as they're side by side down into turn number 1. So with 13 laps to go, we've seen this before. These two battling hard for the lead. Meanwhile, Richardson just got passed by Eddie Morris, put Richardson back into the 11th position. Devin Bucciano battling with Matt Allen. This is a battle for 5th. Allen takes a dive down to the bottom. Butch trying to use that high lane momentum. Meanwhile, we've got a battle back for the lead as Canuti tried the high side yet again on Cody, but just was not able to get it done. Devin Bucciano able to use the high side to keep himself in the top 5. And you've got a gaggle of cars back here, a couple of lap drivers battling for position as they go 3 wide down into turn number 3. That's, Hickok's up into the wall as Gomes slid up the track just a little bit, forced the 3 up into the wall. Matthew Scott, who's a couple laps down. Making his way up towards the front. As Richardson and Gomes battle for the 11th position. Back up front, we're coming to 10 laps to go. Cody Moore still out in front of Brian Canuti. But for how long? Canuti's been able to get right alongside Cody Moore, but just has not been able to get the pass done. Does Canuti have anything for that 52 machine in the closing laps? What a fantastic race we've seen between these two all race long. Usually races here at Homestead kind of stretch out. There's not a lot of battling, especially for the lead. And tonight we're seeing just the opposite as Cody Moore, again, tries to break the draft. Much like you'd see at Indianapolis or Pocono. Again, when this track was open, this was a little sister track to Indianapolis. It ran 4 corners just like Indianapolis. It was reconfigured in 1997 to the configuration we have now, as they're now door-to-door again for the lead. Canuti, though, this time, looks like he's got the run. He's going to clear Cody Moore off of turn number 2. So now move Cody Moore into second and Brian Canuti back into the lead with just 8 laps to go. Now can Cody do anything with Canuti? Meanwhile, a little further back, we see Matthew Fritz still all over the back bumper of Devin Buccineau. Actually, this is a new battle as Fritz has just caught Buccineau as Allen was able to clear Buccineau and drive away. So move Allen solidly up into the top 5. Now Fritz trying to make his way around the 68. We're coming to 6 laps to go. See the 35, that is Matthew Scott. He is currently, I think, 2 or 3 laps down. On fresher tires, just able to drive right on by. That's going to open the door for Fritz to take a look down to the inside. Fritz is going to slide up in front of the 68 of Buccineau here off of turn number 4. So move Matthew Fritz up 8 spots and into the 6th position. Meanwhile, while that's been going on, Brian Canuti has checked out. You see the interval between him and Cody Moore. It looks like Cody may have burned off his tires trying to defend. And you're seeing exactly the difference here as we have just 4 laps to go. One driver we haven't really talked about in a while is Joe Wright, solidly having a solid finish. Currently in the 4th position. Started on the front row, having himself a top 5 finish. Great job for the driver of the Neon 82. How about our biggest mover of the race? That's the 21 of Richard Hurst. Richard up in the 8th position, currently up 11 spots from where he started. So a great run for the driver in that 21 Noma TV machine. When we cross the stripe this time, we'll have just 2 laps to go. Brian Canute's now stretched his lead to almost 2 seconds. Here comes Canute off of turn number 4 and cross the stripe to take the white flag. The yellow flag will be put away. Just 4 more corners for Brian Canute to get the victory here tonight at Homestead-Miami. And for Wasted Wages to sweep the podium here tonight through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Brian Canute just let it roll on cruise control off of turn number 4. And Brian Canute is going to get the win here tonight at Homestead. Cody Moore going to bring it home in 2nd, and Will Witt locks in that 3rd position. Joe Wright comes across the line in 4th, and Matt Allen will be your top 5. But how about Brian Canute here tonight in dominating fashion? In a 1-2-3 finish for Wasted Wages. As all 3 drivers come down to the start-finish line. For a photo, and Brian Canute is going to burn them down here tonight at Homestead-Miami. Again, in dominating fashion, it gets the win here tonight at Homestead. Let's take a look at the full results. Again, Brian Canute getting the win. Cody Moore and Will Witt, your podium. Joe Wright, Matt Allen, your top 5. Matthew Fritz brings it home in 6th. Richard Hurst with a fantastic finish in 7th. Devin Butchno falls back to 8th. Eddie Morris and Ryan Gomes make up your top 10. Jeffrey Belkin, his return, comes home 11th with Blaze Richardson back in 12th. David Wright comes home 13th. Rick Ward and Brian Boyd, your top 15. Boyd, the first driver, 1 lap down. Joey Hickox brings it home 16th. Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence back in 17th. Gann Cyphers in 18th. 19th was Matthew Scott, and Chuck Balance rounds out the field tonight here in 20th. As we get ready to talk to your podium here tonight, as we get our camera set here for our interviews. Starting with our 3rd place finisher, Will Witt. Will, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Loud and clear.
Man, great run for you here tonight. Bring it home on the podium. Wasted Wages, 1, 2, 3 here tonight. I know you didn't really have much for Cody or Canute there at the end, but were you kind of hoping for a late race caution to bring the 3 of you together and give yourself a chance?
Honestly, not really a late race caution. That kind of would have hurt us in the long run. I think Cody didn't have a set of tires left, but I mean, I definitely wish I would have been closer to them guys because I was keeping up with them. I was definitely keeping pace with them, but I just was not close enough to capitalize basically all night. I could keep up with them, but that was about as far as it could go.
Well, a great run for you here tonight. It's good to see you back here in Tuesday night in the trucks. Not your normal number, but good to see you out there in that machine. Talk about your race though. What was the strategy like? And with the lack of cautions there tonight, did that kind of play to your strategy or against your strategy here tonight?
Oh, for sure. We kind of figured coming into this with how the truck was, it wasn't real loose, that it would be you'd have a lot of long green flag runs. So it was definitely take care of the truck, make sure it could turn because these things were inherently tight. So it was definitely to try to get the thing to rotate in the center of the corner. I tended to start to figure that out a little late in the race, unfortunately, but just and that's kind of what it is with the trucks. Just take care of the tires, get the things to turn, and just be there at the end. That's really all you can hope for.
Well, tonight we run Homestead turning left. Tomorrow night we move over to Watkins Glen. Are you going to be in the Watkins Glen race tomorrow night? And how do you like your chances there for a double sweep of the podium?
Ooh, man. Yeah, I'll be there. I can usually get a top five there, get podiums at a road course. There's some guys that are in here that fast. Matt Scott's always fast at road course. Obviously, you got Brian and Cody are crazy fast. Me and Devin usually end up finding each other. So I'm about fifth or sixth. If I get a top five, I'll be happy. Podium, I'll be ecstatic. So I guess we're gonna get some practice tonight and go into tomorrow and hope for the best.
Well, again, congrats on the podium, Will. Before I let you go, anyone thank a shot you got to give here tonight?
Oh, for sure. Everybody on the team. Matt, Colin, he's not here tonight, obviously. Cody, Brian, great run by those guys. Congrats to those two. Everybody for putting the league on, Devin, Eddie, all them guys doing this league week in and week out. And obviously, you up in the booth for hanging out with us and always putting on a good show.
Awesome, man. Well, I do appreciate it. And again, congrats. And we look forward to talking to you again soon.
All right. Thanks. Talk
Have a
to you
great
later.
night. So that was your third place finisher, Will Witt. Let's bring in your second place finisher, driver of the 52 machine, Cody Moore. Cody, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
I got you, buddy.
Man, great run for you here tonight. Looked like you might have had the win, but Cody was able to save just a little bit more than you at the end of the tires, it looked like. I saw you using a little bit of serpentine trying to break his draft. Was that the best you could, was that everything you were trying to give right there, trying to keep him behind you, or did you know that he was just going to be a little bit quicker than you there at the end?
Yeah, I pretty much knew the inevitable was coming. I was trying to kind of do all I could to throw him off, cut the air. I don't know, park it in the center. Yeah, I was just trying anything, but yeah, he had the speed there at the end on the long run, and unfortunately we just couldn't stay there. But yeah, I mean, I've always loved racing with Nudie, and that racing at the end of or coming to the last pit stop there was incredible. So yeah, he was just the class of the field.
Yeah, something that you don't really see here at Homestead, but you guys are running side by side for many, many laps here. Talk about that racing here side by side. I know these trucks don't like to be side by side all that much. So and I saw in your qualifying, the truck seemed to be a bit of a handful as well. So talk about the handle of the truck. I know a lot of guys are saying it was tight, but it looked like it had its moments where it could snap on you.
Yeah, you could kind of keep it loose throughout a run, which I feel like I did kind of poorly too. Not really abusing it off. So I think I had a little more speed there. I just couldn't quite figure it out. But yeah, the race and the number 52 Eddie Morris Customs tonight, Chevrolet was fast, but yeah, the racing was it's pretty much if you didn't have the bottom, you could kind of arc it. But yeah, me and Nudie really had a good time out there.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congrats on the podium here tonight. I know you're looking forward to tomorrow night at the road course. And nice to see Wasted Wages finishing 1, 2, 3. So before we let you go, anyone want to thank any shot you got to give here tonight?
Yeah, I want to start off as always, my beautiful wife Maggie, my two kids, Papa Moore watching at home, my mom, all my family and friends that catch it every now and then. Eddie Morris for the awesome paint job. Everyone at Wasted Wages was really good, finishing 1, 2, 3 tonight. Really kind of need that for the team points. I think there's still a shot. And Josh, you for doing the broadcast and everyone that runs the league. Appreciate it.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congrats on the podium and good luck tomorrow night at Watkins Glen.
Thank you, sir.
Have a great night. So that was your second place finisher, Cody Moore. Let's bring in your winner here tonight. Having some issues, people moving around on me. Driver of the 40 orange Morris Customs machine, Brian Canuti. Brian, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Woo! Let's go, baby.
Man, great run for you here tonight. Getting the win. You and Cody having a great run, not just at the end there, but all through the race. It seems like you two couldn't get away from each other. Talk us through the race and what was the difference that was able to get you that long run speed that Cody just didn't have there at the end?
Well, I think it was just able to get the truck to rotate better in the center. I think I was just doing a little bit better job with my trail braking and just keeping the tires nice and cool underneath me and keeping that little bit of extra tire percentage on there just so I can get that long run speed. And I just kind of caught Cody off guard, and I was able to get to the outside and kind of keep him low down into the corner, and was able to kind of get in the gas just a touch before him and able to power off and get that lead.
Well, a great win, getting your 24th career SCSRA win here tonight. Talk about your race, though. It seemed like, as we kind of expected, a long green flag race, not a lot of yellows there. Did that kind of play to you guys' strength? I see you guys all really had the long run speed here tonight.
Oh yeah, I was definitely. I mean, this is one of those tracks too. It's just it's weird. You know, you get like single car weird spins. iRacing doesn't throw the yellow, so you know it's going to be a lot of long green flag runs, and also the truck handles real good. So you know it's not a handful. When it's a handful, that's when you know there's going to be more cautions, or the likelihood that there could be more cautions. But good handling truck here at Homestead. You know, there's going to be long green flag runs, and that just definitely kind of falls right in my wheelhouse. Saving tires is definitely one of the best things that I do.
Awesome, man. Well, again, wasted wages 1, 2, 3. That's a good feeling, having the full team on the podium here tonight. And before you let you go, Canute, I know you're excited for tomorrow night at Watkins Glen. You got any shout outs you got to give here tonight?
Oh yeah, as always, I got to thank my beautiful wife for letting me do this. You up in the booth do an awesome job. I got to thank Morris Customs for sponsoring the league, and also for the sick paint. Look at that number 40, that beautiful truck. That's all Morris Customs right there. Hit my man up over at Eddie at Morris Custom, or hit my man up Eddie over at Morris Customs, and he will get you a sick paint looking just like this one. And also, if you tune in tomorrow, you'll be able to see one just like that too. Also, I want to thank all the league admins for everything that they do. Want to thank all my teammates that showed up tonight. Will, it was awesome racing with him tonight. Haven't raced with him quite so often. This is actually my third win in a row, so pretty stoked about that too. Won swept all last week, and then also got this one too. So hopefully I can continue to keep it going tomorrow, but we'll see. And then, as always, I got to thank Gil's Dump Truck Service and Pizzeria, the fastest dump trucks in the Northwest.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congrats on the victory here tonight, and good luck tomorrow at Watkins Glen, and we hope to talk to you again soon.
Yep, thank you, sir.
Have a great night.
Yep, you too.
So that was your winner, Brian Canuti, getting the win here tonight at Homestead-Miami. Again, we want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight, whether you're watching again on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, or over on Kick. We do appreciate you joining us here tonight. Don't forget to hit that like button, follow, and subscribe. Check out our links down below to support our page and support everybody who puts this on. Don't forget to join us tomorrow night, as Atlee Atman Weiss will have the call for the doubleheader at Watkins Glen in the Dev Sports Cards Next Gen Series. Of course, that's going to do it for us here tonight. And as always, as our boy Atlee Atman Weiss would say, over and out.